Hi everyone, Clint here with your communion message for this weekend. Just want to take a moment to shout out for the first time since the COVID outbreak this weekend. Sharon and I get our grandsons for the weekend. And so we're really looking forward to that, and we will not be joining you this weekend because we're going to be celebrating. But I wanted to share a communion message with you. I've got way too much information to do it justice, I think, but I'm going to do my very best to try to explain a few things about why we do communion and how we do communion and when we do communion. So here it goes. Did you know that in Isaiah 53 verse 5, God sent the message to us, exactly what Jesus' job was going to be ahead of time? It says this, Isaiah 53 verse 5, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities, and upon him the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his stripes we are healed." This is long, hundreds of years before we know the communion verses. It's not a tradition, it's part of God's plan for us. Jesus himself acknowledged himself as being the bread of life. John 6:33, verse 35, Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst." So fairly important words to acknowledge there, that Jesus himself acknowledges that I am the life that you need. And by another way of saying it is you need Jesus in order to have life. There's lots of other verses that pertain to that. There is a time to take communion. It is not just a tradition. It is to be part of the life-giving force in us. Acts 2, verse 46, "And day by day, attending to the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts." Hebrews 10, verse 24, "And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works." Hebrews 10:25, "Not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near." And so being together, doing this thing, not just a tradition, but part of our lifestyle. We're to examine ourselves before we get into this. Important detail that sometimes gets so missed, but examining ourselves means, how were my intentions pure this week? Did I cross somebody? Did someone cross me? And getting that business taken care of. So when you enter into communion, there's no static or interruptions or anything to blind you from seeing and experiencing the truth of the bread and the wine that you're taking, the elements of Christ's life into your body. So very important. Examine that sort of thing in your life. It was regulated. Acts 20 verse 7, "On the first day of the week, we are to gather together to break bread." Paul talked with them. There's more to that verse, but the point was just that they had decided ahead of time when they were going to meet to break bread together. And so very important thing. 1 Corinthians 11:28, "Let a person examine himself, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup." Some groups don't allow people to proceed past that point until they have got things right. So important stuff. And finally, the reason why is actually a gospel reason for doing it. And so Revelation 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and eat with them, and he with me." So as we move on, please reflect before you take the bread and the wine. And Dave leads you through that. And may you be blessed with his word and his actions in your life. Thank you.
For you sought me in love, and my heart you pursued in the face